It's the Social Networker, episode number 25. This one is exploring Mingly, your new social integration sidebar for Gmail. Welcome, everybody. Another social networker. Got an invite to another beta that's been around since the end of last year a little bit. I had some chances to get the invitations, but it's a Firefox extension. It's called Mingly, MING.ly for there. What it is an extension for Chrome and Firefox. So I've already gone through the part of just clicking the download. For continue the installation, get it inside of Firefox. What they want you to do is log into your Google account. It's going to give you an option inside of your left-hand navigation to start bringing together your contacts a little bit better so you understand what it is. So we'll go ahead and we'll sign in real quick and see how it interacts with it. So it's trying to get into my Gmail account. We'll go ahead and say integrate with everything that's there. So as you can see on the screen, it wants you to connect multiple accounts, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. What it'll do then is start matching up who is inside your Gmail with those social networks. This has been done numerous times by numerous companies. Gist used to do this, who's now bought by Research in Motion or BlackBerry. They now have their integration point moving on to the phone side itself. So you'll see it just inside of here for your BlackBerry device. You've seen this with Reportive before, if I pronounce them correctly. But right now, we're definitely inside of Gmail. We'll go ahead and we'll connect it to Twitter real quick and see what they have. Right. Twitter is hooked in. LinkedIn would be another important one, mainly for business contacts. So we'll jump in one more time for LinkedIn. So as you can see, LinkedIn is also hooked in together. So I think we're pretty much good to go with everything that we need there. Now, interestingly enough, from here, you're not seeing any other buttons or things to do. So to me, it's a UI thing that they would want you to be able to click to go to somewhere like your Gmail or into LinkedIn. I mean, you see it on here, but as you can see, none of this is enabled except for refresh or delete. So I see that as a problem with their UI. Nowhere to go. It doesn't tell you what else to do besides, of course, you manually clicking. I presume you'd put, go to my Gmail here. You're already logged in, so it should just jump you over. Shouldn't be an issue at all. We'll look at that. There's also the ability for social networks. Only those 3 right now. I can see them adding more. Thing about Mingly is I know where they are in San Francisco, the space that they're in, working with some of our other friends like Yobongo and others in the same space. So what we'll do is we'll go over to Gmail and see what they did. Like I said, we should already have a hook because we've already logged in once. I send a lot of alerts here in crap, so you're not going to see much. Welcome, connect your accounts. Well, I've already done all that. So if I say connect my networks, I'm right back where I was. Interesting way they did it. I was already there. Now the continue to Gmail button showing. So let's get started. We're in. Let's see the overlay. Be relationship action hero. Okay, reminds me of everything. Yeah, that's great. New contacts will be on the side. It'll show you who that you've just connected to, like support at Mingly. So it's showing you've connected to support. You can set reminders. So they'll have messages directly from inside of Mingly for your relationships. And we're ready to go. We now have a menu option on the left-hand side called Mingly. So I'm ready. Look out world. So interesting. It added a new layer up on top for you there. Of course, we're getting, Google Plus notifications. Everything else is going. Mingly is now working hard to go through everything. We can take a look at their settings. Let's see what they offer us real quick. The only thing they offer right now is apparently the ability to connect to your networks. Nothing else is built in terms of settings just yet, so we'll see what else we get from it. Right now, it's trying to sync. The status is just going, so it's initial sync. I can imagine it'll be a few minutes before we get everybody set and in there, but this is the Mingly view. So you have your standard mail view as well as your Mingly view. You can't get rid of the ads, of course, from Google that's in there. Filtering abilities. You can look for people that have changed their career, so it's looking at LinkedIn. Birthdays, you presume Facebook, of course. Location changes, Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook, all 3. Relationship status, Facebook. So you know what you're going to get from there. Setting reminders, that's easy enough to do. I don't see anywhere in here to set a reminder. So it's set a reminder in my contacts during new contact or onboarding or from an email sidebar. So interestingly enough, there's no way just to set a reminder right here. I'd expect some sort of feature button to be there, but I can imagine that's coming up eventually. This is a recent contact. We can get the details on the contact. So you can make it a favorite inside of there. There's your one-touch reminders, and there's your group ability to put people in groups. You can also then make some notes about them yourself, just to see what it does, and you can say done, and you can set a reminder to keep in touch. I'm not quite sure how it's going to remind me. Does it send an email? Does it just pop up when I'm in the inbox? What does it do? I'd like some more information on that. So if those guys could give me a little more information. We do have notifications up here. I have no social network messages. So what you'll find out is Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter messages and mentions will show up in the stream here. If anyone puts you into those, I can see them hopefully putting Google Plus in here. That'll be a huge part of this, as well as people getting mentions inside of that. So updates are now streaming along. I imagine it's going to be a few minutes before we get into that, before we're able to see any other steps from here. So we'll go ahead and we'll wait a few minutes and see what we get, and then come right back in. So I wanted to skip ahead a little bit. So I did a search for someone I know is in my LinkedIn as well as in my Twitter streams. So I grabbed Tom, Duffbird as he's known, author, Amazon reviewer in the top 100, well known throughout that. So what we got was an email that he sent, but the right sidebar is where Gist and Reportive used to be. So now you're actually going to get to see that in action on the side. I can set a reminder. It shows his Twitter connection. I can add to different groups across there. So you've got different groups that you can deal with and manage those. You can add personal notes about the contact, and then I'm getting his recent Twitter stream that he sent down there. Now, I'd imagine if he did more with LinkedIn and others, that I would get more information. I'm not seeing anything else. I would hope that I would read more from his LinkedIn, but it may not have imported it yet. So maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but the idea is that capability is something that I would expect to be there. So hopefully that shows up. Putting a star on them, I guess, would make them an important contact. I'd hopefully get a hover here to show me exactly what that was, but I'm not really sure what it is yet. So what this becomes is basically a dashboard for you to work with your contacts. You can instantly tweet, email, or post on someone's wall when you see something interesting. So just by clicking it, I'm able then to actually work with all their connections. This is interesting is I see the Twitter hook. I can send one to @GetMingley, right? I can direct message, or I can mention if they're hooked together. Facebook, I haven't connected yet, so they're not in there. But I did connect LinkedIn, but I'm not with them as a contact. So this one shows is lit up, but it says you haven't linked Facebook. This one shows is grayed out because they're not a contact on LinkedIn. And this one on Twitter lets me mention. Interesting difference with the UI. I understand why they did it. And then, of course, I could always just email them directly and then send it directly or from inside Mingly. So either way, so they've given you the ability to interact directly with your contacts themselves. I'm going to see what more of this does for me as I go. I may have a follow-up for this, but it's another integrated sidebar just for your Gmail, so you can start working with your contacts better and get more of their social data, which is what everyone's trying to do, is get their hands on it. I like the way they integrate with the sidebar on the left. I do like, of course, that they have everything down the right side that we were used to before from some of the other services. I do like they have their own view right now in the middle, but I'd like to see a little more cleanup of the UI. I know they're just finishing up their beta cycle. So when they get a little more things a bit ahead, I'll come back and visit, and we'll see what we get. And until then, another social networker.